Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys a Ride, and today I'm in the 2026 Cadillac Optiq, and this is the Premium Luxury trim level. Today, I'll be covering the drivers and infotainment screens. I'll do a general overview, show you how to access information, and do a deep dive. Let's get started. Today, we're working with our friends at Snell Cadillac in beautiful Mankato, Minnesota. Okay, so this is a 33-inch screen, and it's got one glass cover that covers the driver's screen and the infotainment screen. It's all under one piece of glass. So we're going to start with the driver's screen. And to start with, over here on the left, you've actually got a touchable window. So if I click on here, I can get a little menu. I can go to layout, and I can change this to an energy view. I can change it to a map view. Give it a second to adjust to the colors there. Okay, I can go to an assist view where you get your lane keeping assist, your adaptive cruise control, your super cruise control, that kind of stuff. And I can have a clean view where it kind of strips out a bunch of information, gives you the basics. All right, so we're going to go back here to the gauges, and we're going to leave that one up. And then if I click here, I get trip. So this is current trip. If I swipe, I get trip 1, trip 2, and then a column screen if I don't want anything to show up there. But that is all under this button right here. Okay, we'll go back to layout, and then we're back to this view. All right, so that's one way to adjust it. You also have a shortcut to all of your light controls. So instead of having a traditional light, like a switch that you can turn, it's all right here. So you have off, auto, parking lamps, or low beams. All right, and then next to that, you have lane keeping assist on or off. And then you have HUD control. Now, a HUD is something that displays up in the windshield, and it displays your basic driving information, your speed. If you have speed limit sign reading on, it'll do that. It'll do turn-by-turn navigation. Now, what you can do here, though, is you can rotate it left or right. You can adjust the height, and you can adjust the brightness of the HUD. You can also turn it off completely or tap to turn it back on again. So that is all on the left side of your screen. Now, next to that, you've got tire pressure. All right, that window, you don't adjust from the driver's screen, you adjust from the infotainment screen. And I'll show you what I'm doing when I get to the infotainment screen, okay? But if I simply go to, it's called Vehicle Info, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on one of the plus buttons, and this one says Energy Efficiency, and if I click on it in the infotainment screen, I can click Add to Driver Display, and there we go. Now, you have a bunch of choices. You have maintenance information that you can throw in there. Right now, we have tire pressure from there. You've got energy information that you can throw in. So, for instance, if I go here and I do energy usage, there you go. And then you also have air quality information that you can add. All right. I'm going to go back here and leave it on tire pressure. Okay, but that window, again, you change from the infotainment screen, and it is under an app called Vehicle Status. I think I said Vehicle Info first, and it's Vehicle Status. In the middle, you have got your basic driving information. You've got your speed. You have got your sign reading recognition down below that. You have got Super Cruise indicator down below that. Okay, and then on the far left, you have, are you charging or are you using energy? And then over the far right, it gives you a battery gauge, much like a gas gauge. Okay, it tells you that, we're a little above half at this point. And then on the far right, you've got media. Now, to control media, you do have some steering wheel controls on the right-hand side. Okay, first of all, you have like a favorites button. That just clicks through all your favorites. There are two arrows up and down. You have got a musical note which then gives you all your sources, and then you use the toggle switch on top of that to go through and select the one you want, and then simply press that same button to go to that station. Okay, so that's how you're going to control media. And then you've got a volume button on the steering wheel as well. You've got a phone button, you've got a voice command, and you got a phone hang up button. So phone answer, phone hang up. Over on the right side of the steering wheel, you have a Super Cruise button. Then you have the heated steering wheel button. And then you have cancel cruise on the left and turn cruise on the right. Now, on the two silver switches above those, on the right-hand side, if you have the cruise on and you push down once, it'll set the cruise. And then you have your normal resume is up, and decrease is down. There are two indents for this button. So if you just put it up just one click, it'll increase it 1 mile an hour. But if you go to the second click, it increases it by 5 miles an hour. Same thing with going down in speed. A single click is 1 mile an hour slower. And then if you push it down 2 clicks, it's 5 miles. Now, this is your gap setting for your adaptive cruise button. Okay, you can see that adjusting in the screen. This is interesting. This does not push up. So once you get to like, okay, I need to lessen it, you just need to keep pushing down. Okay? Now, you do have a regenerative button or a paddle right here. It's not a shifter paddle. You can use that. So you can leave the car off of one pedal driving and just use this when you want to slow down to recapture some energy if you want. Right behind that, we have all our windshield wiper controls. And then on the far right, you have your gear selector. And it's a push at the end for park. And then it's simply a pull forward and then up for reverse, or pull forward and down for drive. Now, I'm going to show you drive modes, what it changes on the screen here, but it's actually in the infotainment screen again. So right now we're on tour, so I'm going to go to sport. So there we're going to get a little different view, okay? Snow and ice, and then you have a my mode, which I'll show you later how to adjust that, okay? And if I go to gauges here, right now you see this link to drive mode. I can turn that off, and then I can go to tour, but as far as drive modes, but I still have the sport gauge. Okay, if I link it, right now I'm set to tour, so watch what happens. See, it grays out the sport and puts you back into tour. That's the driver screen. That is what you can adjust on there. So next, we're going to move over to the infotainment screen. All right, welcome to the other half of this huge 33-inch screen. All right, so on the infotainment screen, we're going to start by just showing you how to adjust just the basics of the screen, like moving apps around, that kind of stuff. And then we'll take a dive into the individual apps. Okay, so I'm going to go to home to start with. That's our home button. And the way this is set up is there's two screens of apps here. If you want to arrange the apps, all you need to do is just click and hold and then drag it over and it will swap. So you can do this with the other screen as well. Okay, and you can leave it there. Now I'm not going to do that. I want to put settings back, but that's how you're going to rearrange it. You can go up, down, across. So you can easily customize the order of your apps. I mean, when you press the home button, this is what you see, right? It's the first of the two screens. So, move all the apps that you want onto the first screen. All right. The second thing that you can do is you can adjust most of these apps down here. All right. You cannot adjust the home button. I do not believe you can adjust the split screen view, which is this one. However, you can change these ones. So if I wanted my camera button to be down here, it'll swap. It'll put my camera down there. Okay. And if I wanted to, and then my music will be some audio right there. Okay. I can also, let's try one more, because I do not think I can replace the split screen. Correct. I cannot replace the split screen. So home screen and split screen stay. The rest you can adjust. You can also do left to right. Now, next to that, you have got another row of shortcuts. All right, so this one is one pedal driving, on or off. Okay, and then if you do turn it on, you can set the level to normal, off, or high. And you can say don't show on home screen if you want. So what one pedal driving is, real quickly, is it acts like an accelerator and a brake at the same time. So the minute you let up, the car starts to brake and it regenerates electricity. You do have a regenerative paddle on the steering wheel if you don't like the one pedal driving that you can pull to regenerate power or electricity back into the battery just by pulling that. Okay, and it acts like a one pedal, but it's on the steering wheel instead of on your foot. Okay. This one opens your glove compartment. It's the only way to open that. This one here tells your vehicle to stay on for 60 minutes. Okay? And this one tells your vehicle to shut off. I'm not going to click that one, but that's what it does. All right. Now, can you rearrange these ones? No. You cannot. So, that's how you're going to rearrange your icons. That is how you're going to rearrange these ones. That's how you replace these ones down here and customize them. Okay? All right. Now, let's get into the app. So I'm going to start down here, and I'm going to go to that split screen, which I really like. And you do have some ways you can customize them. For instance, now it's map and media. So if I click on the pencil, I can either have it as audio or energy efficiency. Those are my three choices there. Okay, and I can go here, and my choices are audio or energy efficiency. I mean, that's what you're limited to, but it's nice that you at least have an option, and you do have a split screen. There is not a way to customize the split screen other than what I showed you. You can't say, well, I want too small, I want something smaller over here, and I want to move maps over there. That doesn't work. You can't do that. Okay. When you do click on it, it does become full screen, and that is a beautiful view. I mean, that is oh, wow. That is nice. Okay. Let's go. We're going to skip the camera button for a minute. I'm going to go back to home, and I'm going to go to navigation. Now, this is a Google built-in system. So it has, it's all Google based, and it has Google Maps. It has the Google Play Store, and it has a Google Assistant. That's your voice command. There we go. Hey, Google, navigate to the closest McDonald's.
Sure, McDonald's.
All right. And there you go. Now, you can click start, or you can just wait until that timer finishes, and then it's going to go ahead and start the route.
Head east toward Sibley Parkway.
Okay, that was loud. Usually, speaking of which, you can adjust that volume. There's a spot in the settings, but just as the voice is talking, hit the volume button up or down, and it will adjust it and remember it. But I'll show you in settings how you can adjust that too. All right, and there's your route. That is the easiest way to program a route, okay? You can cancel it here, or you can just say, hey, Google, cancel navigation.
Stopping navigation.
Okay, and there we go. Now, if you've never, ever really used this part before, you notice, see where it listed the McDonald's? If I click on it, it's going to tell me what time it's open until, how much charge I'll have. Parking is easy. Okay. I mean, that's just really nice information. A lot of times it'll give you the phone number as well. Okay. All right. Now, a couple of the basics on navigation, besides what I just showed you. Let's say you really want to just type by hand. You can do that. You can click here. And if you click again, you're going to get a keyboard. All right. Now you can go ahead and you can type in your address. Okay. You do have recents. You can look under categories, and you can look under saved. Okay. Now, when you get the car brand new, you're going to want to sign in to your Google account, and it will remember all the places you already have saved on your phone under Google Maps. Okay. Or if you haven't, it'll start storing them. Okay. Now, you've got some buttons right here. Okay. So you can zoom in, zoom out. You can always hit recenter. Okay. This right here is going to filter a couple of things. Like, do you want to look for slow charge chargers? Do you want to look for quick charges? Do you want to customize? Okay, you want up to 9 kilowatts all the way up to 350 kilowatts and faster. And then it will eliminate other charging stations for you. Okay, so let's go back here. This one here is just the perspective. So we're going to click here. Okay, and this one will mute the voice, give you just a tone when you're supposed to make a turn, or you'll get the voice and tell you to make a turn. Here, under the gear wheel, of course, we have the same selection for the audio that we just went through. You can turn traffic on or off, and if it looks like that, it's off. Okay? Alerts, on or off, these are driving conditions, accidents, that kind of stuff. Your EV map filters you can adjust from here. Route options. If you want to always avoid something, or prefer something. Like, let's say you always prefer energy efficient routes. Once that's clicked, every time you program in a route, from now till eternity, it will always look for the energy efficient route, and that's the one it will give you. Let's go back to that gear wheel a minute. Let's just see if there's anything else. Here they offer you even offline maps. If you're going to a place where there isn't coverage, with Wi-Fi and GPS signal, you can have an offline map and it will still work. Adjust voice guidance volume. So I'm going to get my left hand on the volume on the button on the steering wheel.
To adjust the volume of the voice guidance, use your car's volume controls.
There we go.
To adjust the
Oh,
volume of the
that's
voice
much
guidance,
better.
use your car's volume controls.
All right. Now we just click it again to shut it off. Now, if you want to look at EV payment filters, you can do that and you can set one up. So, a lot of cool things in there. There's one other thing, and that's the privacy center. Okay, so you can, I'm not going to go through this, but this is where you would go in and say, okay, what information is Google using? That kind of stuff. Do I want to turn it on or off, or only when a destination is set, and that kind of stuff. This is where you go into that and set all that. This button here is simply your Google Assistant. Let's go back here. And let's talk about the charging app here. All right, a lot of cool things here. So you can set how much you're going to charge to, okay? And you'll want to check with your dealership and ask them what the recommended charge level is. You know, some say 85%, some say 95%. So check with your dealer and find out, what should I really set that to? If you go to charge later, you can set a time. So you set your time for like at a good peak hour for the cost of electricity, and then you turn preconditioning on and go to bed. And then later that night or early in the morning when the rates are lowest, according to the time you set, it'll precondition the battery and then charge it. Now, this button here is your Cadillac account on your mobile app. Okay, so it helps you to find nearby stations and start charging directly from the charging app. You can also sync favorite stations and routes from the mobile app to your vehicle. Now, this one down here, you can create a schedule. If you're on a routine basis doing things in charging, you can do that. Okay, let's reset that up. Here, energy transfer is available. So you can transfer energy while your vehicle's off if you click enable and run something else. Okay, charge port is available. Now, under settings here, you can set a home location where you can set feature preferences. You can look at charging status feedback. What do you want to know? Do you want it to beep at you when they plug it in? Alert if cable is unplugged. I think you'd want that one on. Long beep at power loss. Illuminate exterior lights. So just, okay, I can see the lights are on. I know it's charging, right? All right. And I won't go through all these, but again, this is where they are, all the settings, okay? Let's go back to home for a minute. All right, that was charging. Let's take a look at camera. All right, so this has an overhead bird's eye view on the camera. Right now, I'm not in drive or I'm just in park. So this is what we're seeing, and this is looking ahead of me, so it's actually using the front camera right now. I can get an overhead view, so it's then down over the hood of my car, or standard, or I can get a side view. So I've got mirrors on the left and the right, so it's like a 360. Yep. And if I look in the back here, that's my back camera. I can look at the overhead, so I see just the back of the vehicle. I can look at the sides. These are the back wheels, left side, right side, and I can look at the hitch. If I had a hitch, it'd be sticking out right there. Right? Now, let me actually put it in drive for a second. Okay? And now I get dynamic swivel guidelines so that I can, I can use those to help park. If you're not aware of this, the red lines mean absolutely do not get any closer to the vehicle than this. You're literally inches from your bumper. And then each of these yellow ones is so many feet, but you want to look at your owner's manual. I don't know offhand what this one is. All right, so this is in drive. If I go to reverse, you basically get the same thing, okay? You get the 360 here, but do you notice I get 3 lines here? So I get the back tires, and then this outside yellow line is your front right tire. And if I go into this way, it's my front left tire. I don't think, if I put it in drive, maybe I missed it, but, oh yeah, nope, it's there. Same thing in drive. So you don't see it in this screen, but you do see it in this one. Kind of tells you where your back tire is going to be trailing to in this particular front view. So if I go under settings, let's see. Okay, if I turn top down off, there we go. There it is. Now I've got a bigger view, right? But I don't get the top down. But I do have a bigger window for the camera. So it depends on what you prefer. You can turn that off under settings. You can also turn off the guidelines. Like I like trailing ones. That gives you the straight line right behind your car. Or you can turn off guidelines altogether. Right? All right, and that's the camera app. We'll put it back in park here. All right, that's the camera app. All right, now phones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hook an Android phone. But here's what you need to understand: this car does not have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. It has neither. When you hook your phone, it is strictly Bluetooth. So real quick, on my phone, under settings, I'm going to click on connections. Then I'm going to click on Bluetooth. Then I'm going to scroll to the very, very bottom. And then I'm going to come back to the screen and hit manage phones. And I'm going to add one. All right, I'm looking for Cadillac 2073. And sure enough, there it showed up. And so I'm going to click on this. All right, and it's pairing right now. This is the same number on my screen as here. So I'm going to hit pair. I'm going to hit pair on my phone. All right, it's now connected. It says on my phone, do I want to allow access to contacts? I'm going to click allow. You would want to do the same. Otherwise, there's really no point in having your phone hooked up. Allow access to messages. Yes. So I'm going to hit allow. So now I can turn my phone off and set it down on this nice storage underneath the center console. Let's go then back here to phone for a minute. And now I can go to keypad. I can go to favorites. I can go to contacts and recent phone calls. I can do a search under my contacts, and under settings, I can say active call view, show active call view when answering call. So it's going to pop up on my screen. Privacy, only show call alerts in the driver display. If you turn that on, it will not show up in the infotainment screen. It'll show up in the driver screen. Although honestly, folks, with a solid piece of glass, I think your passenger is going to see anyways. But it makes you feel better. You can turn that on. All right, and then of course you can sort contacts. All right, so that's the basics of the phone. Okay. Now, that's all of these apps I have here. So let's go back here for a minute. And I want to show you the drive modes that I got. And those are right here. So I just click on it, and it's real simple. You got Tour, Sport, Snow and Ice, And then you have a individual mode. So under steering, do you want to have it touring or sport? Brake feel, touring or sport? Acceleration feel, touring, sport, or relaxed? Motor sound, do you want it in touring, sport, or stealth? Ooh, all right. So we're going to leave that one on sport, but this is where you customize that. Okay. I'm going to do sport there. I had it set to normal earlier. If you take a look at our POV drive, it gets up and goes. All right. Now, you can turn one pedal driving on or off right there as well, so that, you know, when you come to that mode, you don't have it on or you do have it on. And then, of course, if you hit edit here, this is going to give you a description of everything. Okay. All right. Let's go back to home. That was how it got drive modes. Now, on the left side of the driver screen, I threw in some information, like we had tire pressure, we had some vehicle information that popped up. This is where I took it from. So you got 3 categories, and I'll click on this one, and I'll say, all right, I want distance remaining. Okay, that's here. All right. Ooh, okay, I can't throw that one up on the screen. This one is already in the screen, so I can remove it from the display, and then it goes back to the time and date on your driver screen. All right, that's all under maintenance. Under energy info, if I click on any one of these, I can add to driver display. Okay, and I'll just go back to show you quick. Add to driver display. Oh, this one it won't. Okay, so not all of them, but it will for a lot of them here. And when you click that, it shows up on the left side of your speedometer. Okay, and then of course these ones you can read. They give you a description for everything. Okay, what they're showing you. Okay, let's get back out of here. Let's go back one more, and then you can do air quality, and then you can add to driver display if you want. Okay, let's go back to home. So that is vehicle status and how I got that information into the driver screen. So we're going to skip that one. We'll come back to settings. We've covered camera. Let's talk about ambient lighting for a minute, because this does have ambient lighting. So you have some preset styles, Aurora, Serene, Incandescent. Then you can customize 2 different styles, and then you can just click on these to select them. Now under here, you've got accent. You can change the accent, or you can change the glow. Okay. Yep. All right. So that's how you're going to adjust that. You can also look at brightness right here, and you can adjust that. That's just a click and drag, and the glow is a click and drag. Styles, the same thing. This is where the styles are, and then under mode, you can actually link them to your drive mode too. And when you're parked, if you go into demo mode, it'll go through all of them. All right, let's go back to home. Auto park assist. This thing will automatically not only park you, but get you out of a parking spot. So well, I won't go through that, but at the start of the screen, it's to say, are you exiting out to the right or the left? Are you parked like this? You need to go left, you need to go right. You simply select the correct one and follow the directions. If you want to park, it's going to be the same thing. How am I parking? Am I parallel parking? Am I perpendicular parking? And then select my left side, right side, etc. And this would be the road you will be traveling down, right? Okay. But that is really, really, really cool. It's fun. Little scary to use at first, but then once you get used to it, it's awesome. Now, let's go over here. You can look at climate in here. Honestly, they have mostly all physical controls down below the infotainment screen. You got your rear defrost, max defrost, recirculatory, heat or AC. You got the passenger's temperature, driver temperature, got fan speed, and then the direction of the wind, where it's blowing, and then whether it's auto or on or off. What you have up here that you don't have is you have the sync button. Okay, now that just synced with my temperature. All right, that's it. You can go into settings though, and you can say, well, when I have it on auto, I want to set the fan speed I want the fan speed to be low or medium or high. Okay. All right. The other thing you can set is your cooled ventilated seats, heated seats, and so forth. So with this on, if it senses that it's hot outside, it will turn on your cooled and ventilated seats when you start the car. If you start your car in the winter, it's not going to turn on your cooled or ventilated seats in a state where you have cold weather. You actually have winter. Right? Heated seats on startup, same thing. Auto defog, do you want that on? I would. If you're worried about using power, you can turn the Eco Climate on. All right, let's go back. And we'll go back to home here. That was climate. You do have a Wi-Fi hotspot here, and you can connect phones to it. It's all through a plan that you get for free, and then after that, it's I think it's 3 years, and then you pay. Okay, but you can set the Wi-Fi name, the Wi-Fi password. You can share it if you want, all that kind of stuff. That's all right there. All right. Under audio. All right. So under audio, the basic question are: how do I tune? How do I save a favorite? How do I adjust sound? And how do I manage favorites? So let's talk about favorites first. First of all, right now they're just listed in here. If I want to go to sources, I go here. You're going to see it looks the same for AM. And if I go to Sirius XM, it's the same thing. All the favorites are stored on the left. Okay. So if I want to manage those favorites, like I bought the car used, I don't want all these on here, I want to change them, okay? Go to here, go to Manage Radio Favorites, and you can do two things. First of all, you can just delete it. But you notice now I have these blanks. Well, maybe you want to move something up. Okay? So you can rearrange them that way. Go back here, and they're rearranged. Okay? So that's how you're going to manage your favorites. How to make a favorite is here. We're on this one here. I'm going to hit hold to set, and there it is. I'm going to overwrite one. Here's one that says Holiday Tradition, or 90. I'll take the 95.7, and I just overwrote it. So now because I got two of them, if I go back here and I go Manage Radio Favorites, I can delete one of them. All right. But while we're here, this is how you're going to adjust sound. So you've got equalizer. And unfortunately, you got to use the plus signs, or minus signs. But there you go. That's where you adjust it. I wish they'd let you drag them. Fade and balance. That is a click and drag. And then you can recenter everything. You have got the sound mode. This does have a 19-speaker AKG system with Dolby Atmos. Now, it also has just surround sound. And so you can set the level of that by clicking and dragging. This is like stereo, and this is like a certain amount of surround 3D, and you can see that going around you and kind of what it would sound like. All right, here's the rear. Okay, you can set the amount of surround or stereo separately for that. Okay, now this is where you get that Dolby Atmos. Let's go back here. Adapt the volume. That's on or off. And then what that's going to do is the faster you go, the more ambient noise there is in the car, and it will raise the volume just enough to compensate for the road noise. When you slow down, it lowers it. It basically keeps the volume the same level as far as your ear is concerned. All right. Then let's talk about how to tune. So tuning here, you can, of course, on Sirius XM here, you can just use the tuning buttons here. You can go here and see a list, like here's music, sports, news, talk. Okay. So if I go to music and I go to holiday, here's all my stuff that I can pick from. Huh? We'll go jazz, holiday, and there we go. Now, if I take a look at FM, and the AM is going to be exactly the same. So that just tunes up, that tunes down. If you want to direct dial a station, you can do that here, or you can go through a list of FM stations and just click on the one you want. Let's go back. And that was audio. We've done Google Maps. We've done phone. Let's take a look at these controls here. All right, glove box release, dome light here. That's where that is now. Power window lockout used to be in your door. That's up here. You do have, of course, the camera button again. Traction control is just showing that right now it's on. Auto high beam, auto park assist, rear automatic. These are your sensors, by the way. This is the automatic parking. This is the parking sensors. Rear automatic braking is on. And so if it senses an obstacle or pedestrian will stop. Energy transfer. You've got two screens, so we swipe over. And a charge port door. Now, if you want to see more controls, you can click here. And this has universal remotes. Now, it doesn't have the traditional buttons up in the rear view mirror. They're not in the visor. So you're like, where in the world are my garage door things? Okay, so they are actually going to show up on your screen once you set them. So you just click on here and just start it, right? And look at your owner's manual because it'll tell you what you need to do. Sometimes you need to press the learning button on your actual motor on your garage door, and sometimes you just take the handheld remote in the car and use that. It varies from car to car. I'm not sure on this one, but you can add up to 8 remotes here. All right, and these are universal remotes, so they'll also do things like if you have Alexa or whatever, you have some home products, lights that are turned on, you can do that from here too. All right, now under drive, we have some controls that show up all together, like you can turn traction control on or off, lane assist on or off, and one pedal driving off, normal or high, all from that one screen. Let's go back. Let's exit out of here. And of course, you got Google News on there if you want. And through the App Store, you can download lots of other apps. It'll show you once you're signed in with your Google account, it'll show you any app that will work on the vehicle. So you love Pandora or TuneIn Radio, whatever, you can download those, sign into your accounts, and they'll show up as icons down here. So let's go to settings for a minute. Okay, now as far as the vehicle goes, you've got audio settings here. And so under sound, we've seen these before. Okay, nothing new. Adaptive volume we've talked about radio favorites. Radio text data is just the name of the station and the artist that scrolls through as it's played. Okay. Rear seat reminder is simply when you shut the car off, it's going to remind you to check the rear seat. This is that buckle to drive I'm talking about. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and put it in drive. It won't let me. I can't do it. There we go. So now I turned it off. Now I'm in drive. See? So, Teen Driver makes that on all the time. Super Cruise lane change. You can say, I want that off because I want to change my lanes myself. I want it to change lanes when I turn my turn signal on, or it just does it automatically. Speed assist. All right, traffic sign recognition. So it's going to, whatever traffic sign is on the road, it's going to read it. It's going to tell you what the speed is. Now, adaptive cruise control from signs. This is cool. So when you're on adaptive cruise control and the speed limit changes, your car will automatically change speed. Probably most useful when you're coming into a town. But that's there. Chime when speeding. So this one will chime if you are going faster than the speed limit. This one, if turned on, will chime anytime a new speed limit sign is red. Doesn't mean you're over the speed limit, it just means, hey, there's a new speed limit sign. And this is the Adaptive Cruise Go notifier. So in order to start up again, your car needs a tap on the acceleration or a release from the brakes or something, or press on resume on the cruise control when you're on adaptive cruise control, because this is stop and go. So this will bring you all the way to a stop. And then when the traffic leaves, if you wait too long, with that on, it'll beep at you saying, hey, you need to go. So you tap the accelerator or resume on the cruise. Okay. Seating position. So driver seat entry and driver seat exit memory. You'll get 2 key fobs with your car. And when you set up stuff like your driver's seat, like you've got 2-person memory settings, just have 1 key fob in there. Take the other one and put it away somewhere where it can't reach the car. And that way, when you set your driving position, it'll memorize it to the remote. Okay, so let's say you come out to the car and you press the unlock button and you open the door. With this on, the front seat is automatically going to go down and all the way back to make it easier for you to get in. But when you get in, you close the door and you press start, it's going to go, oh, that's key fob number 1. So we'll match that with the settings for seat position 1. And then you do the same thing for the other key fob, but with key fob number 1 out of the way. Okay. So that is a really cool feature. All right. Let's take a look here. Here it is, collection and detection systems. This has so many, and I won't take time to go through all of them because they all work basically the same way. First thing you decide what kind of alert you want. Right now it's set to a safety alert seat vibrations. If anything pops up on the car as a warning, I get a seat vibration, okay, which is just unusual sensation. So it does cause you to go, oh, what was that? You know, what do I need to look at? What am I not paying attention to? If you don't like that, you can turn to beeps. You know, just beeps. All right. All of these now are going to work pretty much the same way. And then you see these with the on off. They're going to work the same way. So I'll show you one from each section. All right. Forward collision avoidance. Okay. I can say I want it to alert and brake. I only want it to alert. Okay. Or now I handle everything myself. I'd leave that on alert and brake. That would be my choice. Right? Now, these are all going to work the same way. They're going to give you just little choices. Okay? These ones here with the on off, okay? These are the same as the ones we saw on the top. This one here. Okay? But the ones with the on off, you can just simply just on or off. But if you click on them, it'll give you a description. That's what it'll do. Okay, so that's how you're going to adjust your safety systems. And it's just absolutely got an amazing complimentary set of safety systems on here. You can set the date and time here, but also you can just click on the clock and it's going to take you to the same thing here. Under display, you can set the mode to auto, light, or dark. So dark is kind of what you're seeing now. Light will always have a much lighter appearance, and then auto will automatically change the screen depending on whether it's light or dark outside. All right. Under driver display, you can turn on speed sign recognition right here and turn-by-turn graphics right here. And the turn-by-turn will show up on the right side of the driver screen, and the speed sign will show up underneath the speedometer. All right, you can also turn off the display, okay, and double tap to turn it back on again. All right, we've already seen sounds, but this is a little different. Now, navigation volume. Remember I told you there was a way to place the settings to adjust that? It was like right here. And I adjusted to the steering wheel to about there. So, but you can adjust the voice volume for just the assistant, the navigation, phone volume, and ringtone volume. And then basic overall audio volume. Now, this one here, the thing about this one here, right now it's set to 0, which means when I start the vehicle, there's no radio sound comes on. If you like the radio to come on instantly, you can turn that volume up, and every time you start it, the radio will come on instantly. Whatever volume you have set there. All right. Maximum volume at startup. Okay, you can set that. I would say, I'd put it to 0, but that's me. Okay. This is where you set up a profile. Okay. So this is just a guest profile here, but you can just click here and then read the directions on the screen. Okay. And it will attach to your key fob. It can also attach to your phone. All right. And you do have because I do everything with touch because that's how I like doing it, but there is actually a rotary knob with 6 dedicated buttons on the center console. So if you want a volume button that you can rotate, that is the silver button in the on top of the controls on the center console. You've also got shortcuts just like you do on the right side of the steering wheel, pretty much. You've got phone, media, navigation, home, and back. And then you've got a rotary knob right here that you can click. You can see this. Okay. You can also toggle like here, here, down, to the right, do that. Okay, that's the driver profile right now. Okay, so that is it on the 2026 Cadillac Optiq. And again, this is the premium luxury trim level, and it is all-wheel drive. Hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.